Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page, Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You can also hear us live on audio streaming at Evox PBS Receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. did mention in his State of the Nation address last Monday about the economy and the labor force. That is and those are one of his priority agendas, along with agriculture, defense, health, among others. President Marcos has invited businesses to invest to the Philippines as the chief executive trusts on the capability of our skilled workforce to serve. And to put this topic into detail, we now have again the trusted and renowned chief economist of the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, Mr. Michael Ricafort. Good morning, Sir Mike, and thank you for joining us again here in the program Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning, Mr. Jerome, and to your viewers, and nice to be back.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so President Marcos Jr. has advised businesses to invest in agriculture to support the government's initiative to make agricultural products affordable and to support this sector. And also, he invited foreign investors to invest in the Philippines. I'm going to play a portion of the speech of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in his State of the Nation address last Monday. Let's listen in. Okay. We'll try to play that in a bit, okay? I think we're...
Nananawagan pa rin ako sa ating mga negosyante. Mamumuhunan kayo sa agrikultura. My single resounding message to the international business community is this: the Philippines is ready. Invest in the Filipino. Our cavalcade of dependable and hardworking Filipinos, innately skilled, adaptable, and possessed with a heart for service are here, ready to work and to succeed with you.
And that was President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Okay, Sir Mike, so having said that, so I would like to know how far and how extensive should government support the government must support the agriculture sector or agriculture industry.
Well, that's actually the role of the government is to ensure to create an environment that is more conducive for business, for the various industries, including in agriculture, especially those that are the intervention tools that may enable the said sectors, and in the process create more jobs and other economic and business opportunities, and as well as increase incomes, particularly by the farmers. Because why agriculture is important? Because if you, from the standpoint of economic growth and development, agriculture employs nearly 20% of all workers in the Philippines. But agriculture only contributes less than 8% of the economy. So there's a mismatch. Almost 1/5 of your total workers or labor is in agriculture, but their output is only less than 8%, and that has shrunk over the years. It goes to show that this mismatch represents the need to further boost the productivity of agriculture. And we all know that poverty incidence is normally higher in the rural areas, in the countryside, whereas where there's a clustering of agricultural jobs and workers. So Okay, and we have to acknowledge also the fact that the Philippines is one of the hardest hit countries when it comes to natural calamities like typhoons. And, you know, it's very risky from the point of view of the agricultural workers. A strong typhoon, flooding, or storm would lead to losses, actually, and making them worse off. And would keep some of them in poverty. That's why the role of the government is to ensure, uh, the intervention measures like making sure that small scale farmers, because we have the background in the agricultural sectors that in the course of the land reform measures over the past couple of decades, that led to smaller farm sizes, maybe around 1 hectare, thereabouts, from, say, large family landowners many years and decades back. So therefore, usually the bigger farms by large family-owned agricultural companies and agricultural ventures, they have the economies of scale, but at the low, at the farmer level, the beneficiaries of land reform at smaller sizes, they don't have access to those the means to further the economies of scale, meaning mechanization,
Yes.
to boost productivity, use of higher yielding seeds, and the use of the best technologies, and of course, better irrigation and and all the logistics that come along, all storage facilities, the farm to market roads, and other infrastructure. So that's the role of the government to bridge the gap, to somewhat provide some safety net, especially for the smaller farmers. And not only that, it also, when it comes to when talking about import tariffs, there's also a safety net for the agricultural sector to prevent the undue dumping of agricultural products in the local economy. So that's the role of government as a regulator. It would now try to expedite and create that kind of environment to further encourage, and if not, it would enable, and it would make an outright intervention, on the part of the government for to further ensure that there's increased mechanization of agricultural processes, and the use of higher yielding seeds, and use of the best technologies. That's the bottom line, because learning from the countries that use the best practices on technology, especially in agriculture and various industries, agro industries, other industrial purposes. You know, Israel is known in the world to have those, and also the likes of Taiwan, where, for both countries, there are tie-ups, actually, and even of course the government of Japan. Japan is also, they're similarly hit hard by typhoons like the Philippines and some natural disasters, but they use the best technologies that's available, and in making sure, it's boosting output. That's a bottom line, by the use of technology and reducing the costs, thereby making it profitable for the farmers. They make money despite all the constraints, the need to manage the calamities and disasters, and at the same time, also moving towards food security. And countries like Taiwan.
Okay.
Taiwan doesn't have ASF until now.
Yeah.
And they have superior technology. And during the pandemic, they did it. They're always open, their mass transport system, and they were able to handle this challenges well.
All
Also,
right.
Israel, considering there's a lack of fertile land, a lot of deserts around, the lack of water. But despite that, they were able to use greenhouse technologies. They were able to overcome all these limitations, challenges. Israel exports fruits to European countries. So that's the irony of it all. That's the wonder
that's
of
right.
using the best
Well,
technologies. And that should be kind of replicated also here in this country.
All right. Okay. You mentioned about the Israel's practices in agriculture. So, yeah, if I can recall that we send our Filipino agriculturists in Israel to know and to learn the best practices of Israel in terms of agriculture. And also last Monday, President Marcos said that they are investing in boosting agricultural products like biosecurity measures on pork products in to address the ASF, which, as we know, sir Mike, affecting the supply of the meat, and also the you mentioned earlier about the increased mechanization of our agricultural products, particularly the rice husk or the palay, and also to buy high yielding seeds. So all of those practices and measures will help to address the food security in our country.
Well, yeah, these are very important things. We really have to learn these global practices because
Yeah.
technology is the biggest equalizer that would narrow that gap. And, if you boost the productivity of agriculture, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
The farmers, they would be more, they would earn more. It's more profitable for them because they'll be able to produce more, say, per hectare if they use mechanization. Yeah, because it reduces also, your mechanization boosts, normally it boosts output and more expeditious, more convenient, and less labor intensive, less manual labor. Agriculture using the same, manual processes like for hundreds or even thousands of years. So mechanization would be
All right.
a differentiating factor to
Okay.
really uplift the sector
Yeah.
and boost its contribution. And it would also make it more profitable for farmers because that's a risk if they lose money. So they should be always encouraged to plan. Yeah, there may be challenges like the storms, the floods, the typhoons, but the thing is, yeah, there's also there are important fallbacks that must be strengthened, like the crop insurance and other support facilities. Because storms are inevitable, so that would at least provide some relief, some safety nets as well, and it is also good for food security.
All right.
Because if we boost our output and at a lower cost, it means lower prices, and we would already reduce the reliance on imports.
Okay.
And we
That's
have
right.
seen that in neighboring countries. That's why everybody wins. It would be technology that would really uplift everybody else, and there would be more incomes, and that would make economic growth and development more inclusive. It would raise
That's
the
right.
incomes, and it would help expedite. Maybe this is one of the gaps that's still needed to achieve the middle income country status. Alongside with in the industry sector, it's a similar dilemma, and that's why the private sector is also encouraged. Maybe to there's a large conglomerate right now, one of the biggest conglomerates in the country. They plan to become the biggest vegetable producer, starting with greenhouses.
Yep.
They have Israeli partners in Bulacan,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'll try to replicate that in many other areas around the country, in key cities and key tourist destinations. So yeah, this is private sector driven, and it also utilizes the best technologies through their Israeli partners. And another one, there's the government through the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It was announced in recent weeks that it has some ventures and partnerships, so to speak, with Charon Pokpan. That's a giant agricultural company when it comes to livestock, poultry. The wonders of technology, highly automated processes. Very simple. The number of piglets, they produce more. The number, well, because of the best technologies, they have more piglets, and the time to raise them is much more faster. So meaning they can produce more, and as a result, with increased supply, lower cost, greater productivity. The farm gate prices that they offer for pork products is much cheaper, given now that we're faced with ASF. And talking about ASF, yeah, it was mentioned during the sauna as well, the importance
Mm-hmm.
of getting and securing more vaccines against ASF.
Yes.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
also very important because, ASF has been hitting the country. It reached more areas for the
Mm-hmm.
past year or two, the previously not affected areas, especially in southern Philippines. And, it reduced, the numbers would show in recent months, in recent years, that it effectively reduced the output of livestock by meat pork producers by about 20%. So the gap is being,
Mm-hmm.
well, and this has been like more than 5 years or even 6 years already prior to the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. That's why
Mm-hmm.
the recourse
All
has
right.
been importation
All
of
right, Sir Mike.
frozen
Mm-hmm.
pork products from all
All
over
right.
the world,
Okay.
to bridge the gap.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Leave that topic. But of course, we have to know that technology is the best equalizer, and by using modern technologies, we can actually increase our agricultural output. And I hope this year that our agricultural outputs, particularly the rice and the meat and the I'm sorry, the agricultural sector will produce more outputs this year. Anyway, moving to another topic, Mr. Mike. Okay, so in the same video played earlier, President Marcos Jr. said that the Philippines is ready, meaning our country is open for investments and Filipinos are capable, innately skilled, and ready to serve. So, I would like to know which industries Filipinos are good at, Sir Mike.
Well, actually, many industries, especially when it comes to higher skilled professions. Why? Well, we have, both locally and abroad. For instance, we have supply of, because our population is 12th largest in the world, more than 114 million Filipinos. Average age is below 25 years old. And majority of the population is already working age, more than 50 million.
Mm.
And that's why our economic growth has been one of the fastest in the region because of that favorable demographics. Meaning to say, there are more Filipinos with incomes, including the professionals and the skilled workers, both locally and abroad. They have spending power. They would start families. They would send their children to school, and they would invest. They would spend. They would purchase houses. They would purchase vehicles. That's why the economic activities has been, vibrant, so to speak. We are having that young population. We have the supply of labor. Well, case in point, Philippines is number 4 in OFW remittances in the world, fourth largest after
Mm.
India, Mexico, and China. It clearly shows here. The Philippines is the biggest supplier of nurses to the world market in an aging population, more than 20% of all the nurses in the world. So it goes to show how lucrative and how, those skills
Mm-hmm.
are needed in an aging population. So they get to be deployed in many countries, especially developed countries, with the shortage of labor for healthcare workers. So that would be the
Mm.
key: the healthcare workers, caregivers, and so on. So that's one. And secondly, the Philippines is also the biggest supplier in the world of seafarers, 20 to 25%. So that's also a very lucrative and profitable industry and
Mm-hmm.
profession to be in. I've been all over the country, different regions, and that's a common denominator. The country has a lot of OFWs, and more particularly a lot of seafarers at that. And so those are, that's 20 to 25% of the world. Uh, they're the personnel in the ships that move all over the world, that move cargo, that move passengers in the cruise ships, etc. And it's the for tourism sector. It's also, the record revenues last year at 13 billion. Also the tourism sector. They, of course, there's a need for, you need to service that also. It's a low hanging fruit. Tourism is like, there's great potential for tourism, especially if we
Mm-hmm.
improve the infrastructure, the airports, the seaports, the mass transport system connecting to the airports, that could help attract and make it more convenient for foreign tourists to come into the country.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's their objective. That's the reason why they come here, is to have a holiday, enjoy, rest, and have a great time. And it's important to have good infrastructure, starting with the modernized airports, the mass transport system, make it more convenient for them, the accommodation facilities. That's why there's also that low-hanging fruit and the demand for workers in that sector. It's booming in many key tourist destinations around the country. That's been one source of growth,
Okay.
a catalyst for more business and economic activities in key areas around the country, especially outside Metro
Okay.
Manila.
All right.
Other than OFWs that also contribute, and also other than BPOs that now move to the provinces, because BPO. Why is it very important? BPO. We're number 2 in the world, BPO, after India, but for contact center, we're number 1. They cannot beat us in contact center because global companies, they would like to provide the best for their customers, for their global customers. When they call, they can understand each other better. The welcoming culture. That's something, even despite AI, that's why STEM courses is also very important. Science,
All right.
technology, engineering, mathematics. To have the core skills. So we have 1.82 million BPO workers now.
All right.
That's large, and it's still growing. 21 years ago, 2004, it was just
All right.
100,000 workers.
All right,
So
Sir Mike.
those are the key industries, Mr. Jerome.
Okay, so those are key industries that Filipinos are good at. So that's healthcare, maritime, tourism, and customer service. So if we are about to gather them, so for example, so we send our nurses and also seafarers and tourism workers abroad, and if we send them back here to the Philippines, they will be able to help spur our economic growth.
Yeah, definitely, Mr. Jerome. Yeah, our economy is consumer spending driven. 75% of our economy, yeah, that's being accounted for by our spending, consumer spending. 75% or three-fourths. So, just to add also, what other professionals, here outsourcing, they can outsource everything. In the services sector, yes. The biggest banks in the world, they're here. They outsource accounting, settlement, back office, everything that they can outsource because it only costs them like US firms. The key pitch there, it only costs them 20% or 20 cents to the US dollar to locate here. And the savings is much more meaningful if they go to the provinces. They go to the likes of Iloilo, Bacolod. Both Iloilo and Bacolod are growing 10% in terms of GDP. That's almost twice the national average. Davao is growing 7 to 8% in recent years because they're booming because of the BPO.
All right.
The likes of Cagayan de Oro, Dumaguete, Southern Luzon, Bicol, like Naga, and Clark, the Calabarzon. Even now, going to Lawag, many investments are going there in the north, in the many
Well, Sir Mike.
investments, both local and foreign.
All right.
Like the biggest mall chains, they're opening there, and it's a matter of time. Also, in northern Philippines, like Baguio, it has been a stronghold for say outsourcing and
Right.
tourism, and many regions they have OFW, so they all drive growth. And the foreign investors, they also look at heavy industries like Tsuneshi, a Japanese shipmaker. It has been here for a long time, and they're still expanding. You know why? We have the supply of engineers for shipbuilding. Those are heavy industries, and young population, and at a lower cost compared to more developed countries like
All right, Sir Mike.
Japan, Singapore. So the Philippines is aiming the higher end of the global supply chain with the wealth of professionals that we have here.
All right.
Name them, all types of professionals.
All right, Sir Mike.
For heavy industries as well as for services.
All right, Sir Mike.
For outsourcing.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned about the foreign investors. So my next question is, the Department of Finance said yesterday that they have secured the entry of a global financial technology firm, Revolut, and also Israeli officials in the Philippines are starting to negotiate for a free trade agreement. And now Manila have secured more or less a 20 billion US dollars of investment pledges from the United States. That's a result from Marcos Jr.'s official visit to the White House. So what does this tell you, Sir Mike? So are we going to investors are choosing now the Philippines?
Yes, because the Philippines is a very compelling market in itself. We have a very large market, more than we're number 12 in the world. We have the 12th largest population, meaning we have the 12th largest market. That's why, from the point of view of foreign investors, because we have been doing pitch
Mhm.
also to foreign investors, like, for instance, with the Japanese, because Sumitomo Mitsui Bank is major shareholder. It owns 20% of RCBC. So we have a memorandum of agreement with PESA
Mhm.
to conduct briefings and road shows
Mhm.
to foreign investors, particularly in Japan, because Japan is just one, no? Japan is 50% of total foreign direct investments and 30% of foreign portfolio investments. So,
Mhm.
of course, it's better also to tap more the other developed countries like US, the other, and many other developed countries to also put money here. No, because their objective is to get organic growth, to grow their businesses, their global presence, and make money. So it's now the role of the government to help attract them. And why? Because the point is perfect. You create more jobs, more employment for the Filipinos. Both from foreign investments and
Mhm.
local investments, and that's the role of the government. That's why they pass key reform measures like the create more, the
Mhm.
create, to enable to make it more palatable with more incentives. If the create more reduce the corporate income tax for
Mhm.
locators in the eco zones, the registered business enterprises, to 20% tax from 25%, and in the previous create version. And
Mhm.
before create, it was 30% before the pandemic. That's why it is trying to narrow the gap with countries like Vietnam, where we compete with foreign investments. Now the create more also made it clear, the clarified the VAT exemptions of many locators in the eco zones, and also the tax deductibility, say, of electricity costs. Yeah,
Mhm.
to better compete and help more attract investments, because we do compete with neighboring countries in Asia, in ASEAN, like Vietnam,
Mhm.
and the Philippines is targeting the higher end of the supply chain, but we're a very profitable market. Well,
Mhm.
they have to be here if they want organic growth. They want global dominance and presence. They want increase in sales, increase in incomes. We have a very large market. 12th largest in the world, 114 million Filipinos. In fact, the biggest automaker in the world,
Mhm.
their sales, the chairman of that global automaker said, why the Philippines is very important,
Mhm.
because the Philippines is the 10th largest, the number 10 for their sales worldwide,
Mhm.
number
Mhm.
10. And even the biggest consumer
Yeah.
companies, the multinational consumer
Mhm.
goods companies, the two giants, yeah, their worldwide sales. The Philippines is number 10, the 10th largest in the world.
Mhm.
So
What?
that's why that's our selling point
Well.
to the world.
Well. Mhm.
We have a very, they'll make money here. They'll make more
Mhm.
sales, and given our large market, and at the same time, if they locate here, create more jobs, it's a win-win for everybody, because it's like, for services, the outsourcing, and for heavy industries also, we have the supply of professionals, skilled workers, uh, like engineers,
Mhm.
and
Well.
at a lower cost compared to more developed countries
Mhm.
nearby. And because aging population in developed countries, so they really have to move operations here and
Correct.
diversify their supply chains to make their global supply chains more
Well,
resilient.
well, sir Mike, I have a follow-up question. Since you mentioned that we are at number 12 on the countries that are consuming more, or you call consumer spending, and also the country is have a little more to export. So, is there a balance between consumer spending and export, so that to address those gaps?
Yeah, true, Mr. Jerome. Actually, yeah. We spend more, we import a lot as a result.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
That's why these global companies, they make money
Mm-mm.
from the market here in the
What
Philippines,
should be
because
the balance then?
yeah, our exports are like 3 to 5 times smaller
Mm.
compared to more developed ASEAN countries, especially agricultural exports. So there's a need to really increase that further because services exports, yeah, we have dominant roles there, dominant positions, especially in BPO outsourcing. $40 billion per year for OFW remittances. That's essentially services. That's our greatest resources, our people, right? And then locally, uh, BPOs, it's generating $40 billion per year also. And tourism, it's $13 billion, and it's similar. It's a low-hanging fruit. We Our tourism revenues and numbers, from the point of view of the world, for foreign tourists, it's 3 to 5 times smaller also. So there's room to grow tourism, the foreign tourism business. There's opportunity and room to also grow goods exports. It's an eye opener also to further diversify our sources of growth, our incomes, and to further boost our status, and catapult our position to become the middle income country status very soon, say in as early as 1 to 2 years. So, especially the winners, the agricultural export winners that we have, like fresh fruits, bananas. If you go to the shelves in Japan, in other North Asian countries, it's dominated by Philippine agricultural exports, like fresh bananas. And our major exports also include mangoes, as well as pineapples, tuna, and many agricultural coconut oil. Coconut oil is, it's an opportunity because the world price is among record
Right.
highs recently.
All right.
So it would enable more exporters
Okay.
to earn more. And,
Okay.
the supply chains, the suppliers in the provinces, most especially, they would also tend to benefit if we try to diversify our export markets and tap more of those export winners that,
Okay.
that products that we have that they don't have. For instance, in the US, they don't have coconut oil, so we export that to them.
All right.
And to many other countries around the world, more lucrative and profitable markets, like those who can afford to
Okay.
purchase more of our
Okay.
products, like more countries in the Middle East, the more affluent
All right,
countries,
Sir Mike.
also the likes of European countries,
All
to
right.
diversify further and let
Right.
exports grow. So that's the intervention measures. That's also that would that's the role of the government to facilitate all of this and create that kind of conducive environment. Striking deals, trade deals, free trade agreements with various partner countries around the
All
world.
right, Sir Mike. Okay. Okay. So, meaning to say, so we have to diversify our growth portfolio and also diversify our export market. So that's what the Philippine government should do to address those gaps between the import and the export balance of our economic, or of our Philippine economy. Anyway, so my last question before I let you go, Sir Mike. Okay, President Marcos Jr. On his SONA warned lawmakers that if a budget will not meet the national agendas or priorities, we will end up on a reenacted budget. So, what does exactly happen if we are on a reenacted budget, at least in economic sense, Sir Mike?
Well, Mr. Jerome, that really sent a good signal. That part of the SONA speech on, it's related to good governance, because everything starts and ends with good governance when it comes to managing the finances and the fiscal performance of the country. Managing the budget deficit, managing the growth of the debt. It's also that those are very important things to stress the point that government has limited resources, and it's a matter of making sure that those that the sectors, the areas that need most of funding, like education, infrastructure, and nutrition, healthcare, and other key social services that have. It's an investment approach, meaning to say, uh, education is one of the biggest equalizer that would provide the greatest return, that would uplift more people out of poverty. Same goes with infrastructure. If you have good infrastructure, the mass transport system, it would also boost the productivity of the population. It would help attract more foreign tourists. It would help attract more foreign direct investment. So yeah, they're creating a lot of opportunities and the point here is that uh, well, it's like well, that's a good signal to have measures to it's a 101 finance 101 on the
Mm-hmm.
government's budget. For
Yeah.
instance, ensuring that recurring sources of tax revenue collections
Mm-hmm.
are further strengthened, because that's our lifeline. That's a lifeblood rather of the country. The taxes, it may not be as popular, but that's the reality. The taxes that we all pay, that contributes to the social services that funds many other education, the key expenditures of the government, and to support the key and core services of and other social services. And on the expenditure side, more disciplined spending, uh, anti-corruption, anti-leakage, anti-wastage.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that actually. These things are not really new. It's a matter of strengthening again, re-emphasize the good governance,
Mm-hmm.
across the bureaucracy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a trade-off. If there's a risk that
Mm-hmm.
funding is not appropriated properly, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the risk of reenacted budget. We have seen that some episodes of that for the past, say, 10 to 20 years, and that would lead to slower economic growth. But sometimes you need to do that to ensure that the highest form of governance standards are upheld.
Mm-hmm.
It's not well, okay. If we uphold the best governance standards, well and good. We enact. There's no abuse, no misappropriation. There's the budget is duly deliberated. It's transparent, and it's fiscally sound. It's sustainable. No undue diversion, into other, it's making sure that the priority sectors get the budget
All right.
that they need. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a signal that it
All
sends
right.
good governance,
Okay.
and in a non-compromising approach to it.
All
Okay,
right.
if there are problems, a reenacted budget that has been done before. So
Mm-hmm.
the win-win there, of course, is to shape up, to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
there's fiscal discipline, uh, disciplined spending,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's very important to manage the country's budget deficit, meaning the government spends more than what it earns.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
if it spends more than what it earns, a budget deficit that needs those budget deficits need to be financed by borrowings or debt.
All
And
right, Sir Mike.
the debt is, there's a
Mm-hmm.
need to curb that,
All right.
to manage that properly, to make
Mm-hmm.
it more
Okay.
sustainable for over the long term and for the coming
All right,
generation.
Sir Mike. Okay, I'm afraid we don't have much time, but very well said about the on that topic on the reenacted budget. So it lies in a good governance, and government must do everything to reach a point that we are not going to reach the scenario that that the budget for the next year is the same as for the last year, and it may affect our economic growth. All right. Anyway, thank you so much, Sir Michael Ricafort, the Chief Economist of the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation. Thank you for joining us in the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Jerome, and to our viewers. Have a pleasant morning, everyone.
All right. And with that interview, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service, together with our production team and technical personnel. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay!
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.